What's happening for us this month ahead? October, a fire dog month in a year of the snake. And what all of this means for us is what we're going to unpack in this little video. Let's get into it. So my name is Lydia Griffith. This is the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. And on this channel, I often like to read the charts of famous people because I think it helps us to better understand our own lives and our own astrology. So if this sparks interest for you, if you're curious about what Bazi Astrology is about and Feng Shui, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell so you don't miss a single video. This month of October is my birthday month, and I'm very excited to be launching a new name, a new brand for astrology and Feng Shui. So look for those coming changes, and with those changes, I will have the ability to expand the content, which a lot of you have asked me for. Things that will make this a lot more elevated, and I also more instructional. So all of that, as I learn more, I'll share it with you. Also wanted to mention real quick that many of you know that I did a big self-reclamation odyssey trip across the country in my car this summer. And I've been doing a blog of that trip, which is a real spiritual exploration. And that's on Substack. So there's a link to that as well. So October begins on the 8th, according to the lunar calendar. And with that, we see the day. The first day of the month is a yang metal dog. Hard, stubborn, boom, the law. This is like the hammer, more like an anvil coming down on the judge's table, right? This is very militant government justice system feeling, okay? And that imprints the rest of the month. The month itself is fascinating. Why? Because it's a yang fire dog. Most of this year, the stem sitting atop the animal of the month has been out of sync. In fact, combative. And so this is in sync. It is in flow and harmony. Why? Because fire feeds earth. Just like at the end of a campfire, you're left with ash. This is in the natural cycle of the 5 elements of Bazi Astrology. So when we look at the overall flow of the 3 pillars, we can see that the year of yin wood snake, the snake being yang fire, and the month being yang fire dog, which is yang earth with a little bit of fire and metal inside, that yin wood is beleaguered right now. It's trying to feed the yang fire of the month and the yang fire of the snake. And in doing so, it's kind of like having 2 bonfires going and you're trying to throw kindling into both. The wood is exhausted here. But the fire is so emboldened that it is fueling the earth of both the dog day and the dog month. So the presence of the yang metal in the day really highlights money and the financial market. And I have said, and I did a crypto update, Bitcoin update specifically, I think that October is going to be a rallying month. I think there's going to be a lot of change in the stock market. Maybe interest rates get cut a second time. Maybe some report comes out that shifts something. But I think it's going to actually be a good month for investing. But that being said, watch my weeklies and my daily shorts because there could be days that are really not good for that. So you want to be careful. All right, so let's get into it. I've got several points I want to go over, about 4 points specific to this month of October. So point one, I just talked about, which is the flow of the Bazi, which is great because what is October all about? Libra, balance. It's the tarot card adjustment, the number 8. And it is also like when I think of like how the Bazi astrology of this month feels so in sync, so in harmonious flow. That's what we're trying to achieve, harmony and balance. Harmony and balance. And how do we do that? Well, by calling out things that are unjust. We do that by recognizing what isn't in balance and how to calibrate and make those needed adjustments to correct course. Okay, so the illusion's broken. That's what happened last month. We went through the eclipse portal. Massive endings, massive beginnings, massive wake-up call. What else does the month of the rooster, ruling September, do for us? Wakes us up. The emperor doesn't have any clothes, friends. And the whole fantasy that could be the United States or really the world, the illusion of this thing, this that we're all walking around in. We know the truth now. Everything from the Epstein files and some of what's in there, and we can use our imagination to just figure out the rest. And a very big, person in the news had an ending of life that caused a giant rising up of people that think that the civil rights movement was a great mistake. And I'm not getting into all of this. In fact, because of the way things are right now in the United States, there's a certain person I've been doing a monthly update for that I'm not going to do that this month. Got to be careful with our rallying cry, with how we are fighting for justice. Because if you're fighting for justice and you're fighting for peace, you have to be peaceful and harmonious in how you do that. It requires us to do things differently so we get a different outcome, right? So sometimes that means working together in smaller groups, like community groups, to work, try to get the message to your representatives, your senators, your governor, whatever. But it's recognizing the how we are in this. Because one of the things that I'm seeing is there's like a torch lit. That was the image I got with the fire horse. It's like a torch lit, like in old times, running through the streets with the, fired up and raring to go. And so with all of that, there is a very strong yang aggressive energy to this. It feels like a government-related crackdown. There is a force moving forward, a real caution flag for warring places. I think of Sudan. I think of Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Palestine and all of these places, known and unknown, where it feels like the world is just like collapsing into itself. It's passionate, it's ardent, it is inflamed with a desire to right the wrongs. And there's a lot of energy here to move past the stubbornness of this yang metal dog day to boldly blaze a path to equality and fairness. A lot like a fire horse, but a fire dog is more about morals, more about balancing ideologies, about righteousness, okay? Standing up for the underdog, standing up for those that are disenfranchised, standing up for minority groups that are under attack right now. How, ultimately, friends, how do we come back into the circle of life? Banging the ceremonial drum, feet on the earth, eyes to the sky, recognizing we are all one humankind on this spinning planet. And how are we doing that in our own lives? Where are you finding fairness, balance, equality in your life? How are you getting off that rat race cycle of day-to-day life to carve out balance, to simplify things, to harmonize? That is the message of this month. I got some journal prompts for you if you're interested. I'm all about journaling to process, and in processing, we better understand our interior landscape. When we are in harmony with ourselves, it is so much easier to see that mirrored in your life, right? If you're out of balance, I guarantee your exterior world is out of balance too. 4 journal prompts. We got a lot to process. What are you fighting for? And again, fighting does not mean aggressive, harmful action. It is the opposite. When we fight for something, we use our brilliance, our talents, our words in a kind, respectful way. We affect change, again, with smarts, ingenuity, inclusivity, collaboration. So what are you fighting for? What is your platform for speaking truth? Again, respectfully, kindly. I think we've had enough of all of this mocking of each other. And what is crying out from your heart for justice in your life? Or maybe you want to champion something on a larger scale for your city, your state, the country. But always come back to what's happening with you in your personal life. How are you able to seek harmony in your day-to-day life? Would love to have your comments, questions in the comments below. And I think that's it for today. I so appreciate being on this journey with you, building this community on this channel. And I know for me in my life, what brings me into harmony is waking up in the morning and going outside for morning meditation. Moving then into some asana, hatha yoga practice that feels good for my body in that moment. I pull a tarot card to get some wisdom to understand my day. I look at the astrology of the day and I edit my schedule for the day accordingly. And as I move into my day, I make sure that I am hydrated, that I am nourished, and that I am pulsing in and out of action and rest, action and reflection, action and rest. So that it feels like a balanced life. And I have no problem saying, no, thank you. I can't do that today. And I will not give a reason, and I will not apologize. I'm speaking from my heart, because why? I'm being loving and kind to myself by declining that invitation. But thank you so much, friend. Maybe another time. And with all of this, it feels like 2 foo dogs, day and month, sitting opposite each other, flanking the doorways of every home, hut, and building around the world this month, around our globe, these 2 foo dogs of protection. Yeah. So peace to all, love to all, joy to all, and harmony to all. Let's see where we are at the end of this month ahead. And thank you so much. Until then, be well.